U.S. citizen fakes kidnapping. Linden teen assaulted by gang. Canoe catches coke-caked postcard. And self-help meets government aid. I am Louis Corporal Ford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Last night, police found 29-year-old American citizen Rohan Kirpal Mangra in a Hadford Street hotel in Georgetown 5 days after he left his house in Cummings Lodge and never returned home. His relatives filed a missing persons report on March the 17th, and on Sunday they provided the police with a photograph of Mangra showing his mouth covered with duct tape, which they say was sent to them via WhatsApp from an unknown number. The police subsequently questioned Mangra's associates and soon after found him at the hotel. Mangra admitted to the police that he was not abducted and went to the hotel of his own free will. He is currently in police custody. Marcus Biseram has returned to the United States days after the CCJ freed him of a murder charge unless the TPP can obtain fresh evidence linking him to the alleged crime. Biseram landed at JFK on Friday evening and was welcomed home by his friends, family, and associates. Upon his arrival, he was escorted to Manhattan, where he celebrated the power of money and good legal representation. 16-year-old fourth-form student Jahim Striker is currently hospitalized with a fractured skull after he was viciously assaulted by a classmate on Thursday last. Striker was recently transferred to the Silver City Secondary School, where an altercation between he and the young hooligan took place, in which Striker reportedly won. Unsatisfied with being bested, the boy left school only to round up his gang of hooligans to get revenge after the closing bell rang. The boys cornered Jahim at a nearby snackette, while the juvenile delinquent cracked him over the head with a large blunt object. Jahim's mother, Fiona Lewis, said the incident was premeditated and will be meeting the perpetrator's parents and a social worker at the police station to discuss the matter further. But hopefully the family has enough money so they will get some justice in this matter, because it seems like only rich people do. Last Friday, another vessel crashed into the Harbour Bridge in an act of extreme boating negligence that seemingly happens every year around here. General Manager of the Harbour Bridge, Wayne Watson, explained that the tide was not optimal for the tug and barge to be traversing under the bridge's high span. According to Watson, the tug and barge that was laden with lumber should have waited until the tide was lower. Instead, several wires and anchorages were damaged. Fortunately, all the damage has since been repaired. However, a cost assessment is being conducted, and that bill will be handed to the ship owners. Also, an investigation will determine whether the management can lay criminal charges for the accident. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale, this is 2014 Audi Q3. It comes with Bluetooth, mug rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, electronic parking brake, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cars for $5.6 million. All pay down as low as $1,120,000 down, with around $108,000 monthly for 5 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Binnery Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lama Street, and tell Nico sent you for this sweet, sweet deal. The search for the 3 fishermen who went missing after the Noble House seafood trawler sank on February 9th near the Mahaica River has been officially suspended. During the announcement, it was disclosed that after covering 1,800 nautical miles within 936 hours, the fishermen nor the vessel could be found. The search was undertaken by Noble House Seafoods, the Maritime Administration Department, and the Coast Guard. Minister Edgell expressed his sympathy to the families and noted that this was the longest and most extensive search for missing persons in Guyana's history. I mean, that's nice and all, but I think that's hardly any form of consolation. That's not going to bring them back. A 44-year-old customs agent was arrested after he allegedly stabbed his 42-year-old wife multiple times during an argument on Saturday afternoon in Linden. The police did not give the name for the customs agent. Nevertheless, during the argument, the suspect stabbed his wife multiple times to her chest, foot, and fingers. She was taken to the hospital, where she remains in a serious but stable condition. The woman's family reported the matter to the police, who promptly arrested the man. He remains in police custody. Yesterday, 40-year-old Ralston Daniels was arrested after he lost control of his vehicle and crashed head-on into 2 men on a motorcycle on the Linden-Soostdijk Highway. The driver of the motorcycle, 46-year-old Michael Roach, is hospitalized with a severed right knee and is listed in a serious condition. Meanwhile, 28-year-old Romalo Hubbard was treated for his injuries and sent away. Meanwhile, a notice of intended prosecution has been served on the driver of the car after a breathalyzer test found him to be well above the legal limit. Now you see, this is exactly the reason why I warn you to never drink and drive. One dumb decision leaves so much pain in its wake. Who said luxury can't be affordable? Move into your own home in 2022. Lenore Estates West Coast and Marara properties are within your reach. Move out of the landlord's place and put that rent money towards your own 5,000 square foot property. Call or WhatsApp 592-618-5702 for more info. A brother and sister are currently in police custody after a squabble with their older sibling turned violent. 26-year-old carpenter Kimo Archer had reportedly come home drunk as a fish and started an argument with his 21-year-old sister. During the heated argument, he reportedly hit her in the head with a plate. As such, she stabbed him in the hand with a broken piece of said plate, while the 18-year-old younger brother punched him several times before stabbing the brother in the shoulder with a pair of scissors. That was before the 18-year-old then picked up a knife and stabbed his brother in the hand and the abdomen. The police arrested everyone in the house and took them to the hospital for medical attention. However, the two suspects are still in police custody. On Thursday last, Kanu intercepted 2 cocaine-laden envelopes at the Guyana Post Office Corporation. They said it amounted to 76 grams. Both envelopes had a London, United Kingdom address. However, there's been no reports of any arrests in connection with the discovery. Kanu is nevertheless searching for the sender and intended receiver of said cocaine. Supposedly. Early Saturday morning, 5 fishermen were robbed at gunpoint by 2 bandits while offloading their boat at Good Fortune in Region 3. The men recalled that 2 armed men, one had a gun and one had a knife, approached them and stuck them up. The 2 robbed the fishermen of over $300,000 in cash and 2 cell phones before escaping. According to the police, the suspects are known perpetrators. Nevertheless, an investigation is ongoing. You can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for our oil update. According to oil analyst firm Rystad Energy, by 2033, we will see Guyana overcoming the U.S. Gulf of Mexico's output to become the second largest deep-water crude producer in the world. By 2035, Guyana is still shooting upward at about 1.7 million barrels per day. The only deep-water producer Rystad Energy expects to be above Guyana by then is Brazil, with close to 5 million barrels of oil per day. Guyana's oil is set to outlast that of many other deep-water producers because of 2 main factors: quality and cost to produce. Break-evens for the projects are all between US $25 and US $35 per barrel, and the crude blends encountered offshore are among the lightest and sweetest in the world. Now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? Expecting the government to solve all your problems. Honestly, when you think about it, it's often the government that's typically the cause of your problems. Ha! No, but seriously, I love to hear when people engage in self-help projects. Above that, I love when the state actually contributes to self-help projects, seeing the actual value in them. So, I was happy to hear that the government is currently spending $20 million Guyana dollars to rehabilitate several access roads in Region 2, while the farmers will contribute $31 million to repair these roads that lead to their farmlands. Meanwhile, the region will provide mini excavators to farmers, which will allow them to craft water channels on the dams in order to preserve them so they don't have to fall apart every time it gets wet. Honestly, I think efforts like this are great. I believe that the government should be there not to take care of you. Rather, they should give you the tools you need to take care of yourself and to create an environment that makes it easy for you to do so. Because, honestly, expecting anything more is pretty stupid. Now for our Uncut News Viewers Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Friday's question was, how do you feel about the debate of parties on religious holidays? Does Dr. Prasad have a point, or is she being overly sensitive, or is it somewhere in between? Our Seaview Farm says, I think Dr. Prasad is very conservative and recognize how commercialized holidays have become. Park was celebrated like Juve in some places, and you know Juve is all about walking up and boxy riders. Scorpio Kid says, in recent years, Guyanese have strayed away from the significance of holidays, and nothing has ever been said before. These holidays benefit both partygoers as well as the business community. Easter, Christmas, emancipation, the list goes on. These events have some of the biggest crowds, and given the fact that the restrictions were justified, it's expected. Well, I guess that's one way to look at it. And Barefoot Wanderer says, Pagua is a celebration of light over darkness. New beginnings and spring is in the air. Shall we not celebrate life, especially after the past 2 years of being compliant and experiencing mental trauma of being a part of the live lab? Nothing is wrong with celebrating. It's how you celebrate. There's a time and place for everything, and Bacchanal ain't for Pagua. I take it Guyanese don't know the history of what real Juve is about. Learn it before you take part. The massa are still around and watching from a distance. You have a very good point. Right now it seems like there's a lot of debate as to what exactly are the prices of goods currently at the stores all across Guyana. So since people seem to not believe that the inflation is really that terrible, I want to do a thought experiment. I want to hear from all of you tonight. Tell us, how much more are you paying for groceries per month today than you did this time last year? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.